Pokemon News Roundup. We got some observations for the Teal Mask and Indigo Disk DLC. We got some standard Pokemon news as well as a lot of other things going on with the games. So if you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, comment your thoughts down below, and we have a major announcement with G Fuel Fall BOGO sale. Buy one, get one free. Look at that. We got some great flavors, two 40-serving tubs, under $40, $35.99, and you can just kind of choose from the list and grab whatever sounds good to you. I will admit, Pokemon Teal Mask DLC is a little light, but if you're still grinding competitive Pokemon or you're doing some competitive Pokemon battles, now is the time to stock up on G Fuel, and the Indigo Disk is just a few months away. Or if you just need an energy drink for work, school, or gaming, now is the time to grab some. Use my referral link in the description down below. Supporting my sponsors is one of the best ways you can support the channel, so let's see what's going on here. Oh, people noticed that Kieran had a dark purplish glow around his hand when he punched the monument. Happens really quick, it's really subtle, but when you catch it, oh wait, it starts to like make things make sense, because how did the Loyal 3 come back to life? Now, people were speculating that it had something to do with the crystal that you picked up, or because Kieran had the teal mask and it did something, but nah, it looks like standard bad juju is what brought the Loyal 3 back to life. And that goes deeper into the story with the Datamine we covered earlier, because there's zombie text in the Indigo Disk DLC. If you missed that video, check it out. But there's also this in the game data, so you see a very small amount of it in the cutscene where the Loyal 3 steal the Ogerpon masks. But this is the full image, so it looks like there's going to be another legendary Pokemon associated with the Loyal 3. Has some Momotaro shenanigans going on. Now, it looks like some kind of weird floating ball with eyes, but because of the poison theming with the Loyal 3, this could also be a Ghost-type Pokemon. Maybe it's possessing Kieran, and that's why he's acting up so much, even though everyone in Kitakami just seems to be a jerk, which is the story of the DLC. Some other observations coming out with that. You can also see the purple shadow during the resurrection. Because, yeah, like, they were dead, but kind of not really, but they just came back, and no one really had anything else to say about it. So we got some Oogie Boogie going on, and that's going to carry over into the Indigo Disk. Either way, we have some good observations about the upcoming Pokemon DLC. Next, Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic to be the most expensive Pokemon TCG product ever sold in stores. Now, if this looks a little familiar, that's because there was a trailer for this, or there was like a reveal for this in the Pokemon Presents back in February for Pokemon Day, where we have this like ultra luxury, hyper premium Pokemon TCG experience. Well, we do have the release date now, and it's going to be a $400 kit, but man, it just looks so cool, and we have the full write-up in details from PokeBeach, so you can check that out if you're more interested. In other Pokemon news, malicious players can soft block your online battles by terastallizing an Ogerpon into an impossible Terra type. The intent is to grief or gain rank by making you disconnect before them. Game Freak needs to update the online hack check to prevent these Ogerpon from going online. Now, we do have an update about bug fixes. What they do mention is the other thing we're going to be talking about with the trainer lock glitch that's been happening, but I expect this to also be in the update. But it is really weird how, like, something so impossible doesn't get detected by the hack check, much like we saw with the Zacian raids giving 999 Master Balls back in Pokemon Sword and Shield, like the impossible, insane hatch raids. But this is kind of interesting on its own, because Ogerpon tries Terra, it soft locks, and then, yeah, the goal is that you just go, oh, the game's broken, I leave, and that's going to be a loss for you. But I guess the way of countering this is that you just stay in until the time runs out, but maybe it can also be used like force a loss depending on the game state and how the timeout rules apply. Really weird, but also really niche. It's not like, oh, you go online, this is going to happen to you every battle. Feels a little reminiscent of the bad egg hack that was happening in like the early days of Pokemon X and Y, even though that was way more malicious. But people are like, yo, watch out, there's this big exploit that's going on, even though it happened to very few players, but it was eventually patched and those eggs were removed, so it wasn't like harming people's games anymore. In the past, there's been a lot of fear-mongering around these things where they're actually not major issues, and bringing too much attention to it could also create more of an issue. So, we also just have, like, weird ignorance from the Pokemon community, but that's common. Either impossible Terra-type Pokemon should be turned into bad eggs, not how that works, or the PKHex devs need to update their software to flag abnormal Terra-type Pokemon as being illegal, but they are flagged as illegal in PKHex. PKHex doesn't stop you from just making any kind of illegal Pokemon that you want, though. Now, this is becoming a game-crashing problem, but PKHex isn't the only hacking tool for Pokemon as well, which is what happened back in Generation 6, where Cyber Gadget was being used to do, like, malicious things inside of games, and not only hacking Pokemon. Also, another issue with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the game can only track 300 trainers being defeated, which means that if you beat everyone in Paldea, the game can't track trainers that are defeated anymore, which is pretty bad for the Ogre Clan. But once again, a lot of fear-mongering around a niche thing that is affecting like 0.001% of players, but it's still something that happens. Do you know something about the bug with trainers not being counted as defeated after defeating them? You can battle them again, moving far enough away and returning. This is happening on 5 of the Ogre Clan trainers, and they can't finish it. But don't worry, this has been addressed by the Pokemon Company, and an update is coming in the first half of next month. Then there's also going to be some other issues that popped up with the game that will be fixed. Other game details from Anubis. So someone observed it's useless now, but Roaring Moon can spawn with encounter power in the depths of Area 0. So you can just find it in the big cave. So this is because the off-by-one spawner bug being fixed. The off-by-one errors and Game Freak, but that was fixed. I believe this was an issue that was making it impossible to get Antique Sinistea during outbreaks or with Encounter Power 3, so that's been fixed, and that means Roaring Moon is now encounterable in the underground because it had a weight of 1 in Area 0, but because it had such a high dev ID, it was last Pokemon and got erased. No changes to spawners, so you can just find this now, and that's kind of cool. So, over the last week or so, we've been talking about the Datamine from Matt and all the crazy text details that are hinting at upcoming things inside of the Indigo Disk. A little bit of a note, if anyone at Game Freak is reading this, I want to give you props on your efforts on scrubbing 2.0.1 of DLC content. Next time, keep a close eye on text data. The entire Datamine these past few days has been courtesy of Notepad. Hilariously bad. And that's like another thing that goes back to the debate I did with the world's second place Guillermo. Really good discussion. I was in the zone for my anti-hacking arguments, but we have a world's finalist effectively making the argument that it's not cheating if you don't get caught, and they considered Game Freak to be omniscient, that they have absolute control over every aspect of their data, and if they didn't want hacking, they would make it happen, but because they don't stop every single hacked Pokemon that's ever existed, they allow it, therefore it's not cheating. That's how backwards the Pokemon community has gotten, especially VGC. But the thing is, this kind of shows, like, no, Game Freak has a lot of issues, and that's why we're getting, like, data mines with how this happens. And one of the examples I made in the debate is Game Freak has a history of being really bad when it comes to people hacking their stuff. That the encryption for Sun and Moon ended up being called meme crypto because it can be like reverse engineered from itself. And that's how we got the data mine for Pokemon Sun and Moon, where they also scrubbed everything except for the images of the new Pokemon, so we got to see the entire dex like 2 weeks before the game came out. It was wild, but yeah, when it comes to like hacking and encryption and data mine stuff, Game Freak's hilariously bad, which ties into something semi-recent and relevant. Interesting. But then we have more fake news from the Pokemon leak community, because that's all it is. It's data mine, and then it's fake speculation, and there's no real leakers because they're just trying to make like informed guesses off of the official information, data mines, and observations like that. So more stuff in the Scarlet Violet DLC Datamine from Chinese social media. Remember the Chinese Riddler? Remember all the Chinese hints and leaks? That means this is legit. So we got a translation about it, but Matt coming in, taking internal names for lines of dialogue and making up stories based on the characters involved is not a data mine. Not a single new line of text was left behind for DLC 2. Only the internal string names. And then Matt coming in, people like to make stuff up and misinform. There's a reason all of my posts don't delve into any speculation and only give the facts. There's no facts coming from Centro. They are pure speculation at this point. But idiots in the Pokemon community eat it up. And then we also have some other weirdness. Someone I've blocked, so let's see this take. And this is kind of coming off of the glitch with the trainers. This is unrelated, but do you know if there's a bug related to Poltergeist that prevents you from hatching a shiny, or do I just have the absolute worst luck after hatching 3,450 without getting a shiny with the Masuda method? I ask because of the thing with Poltergeist. I think it was the authentic form that couldn't be found shiny. Again, that goes with the overworld encounter power off by 1 error. And then Matt coming in, neither of the things you've described have ever existed, so no, your luck is just bad. And that's like, yeah, this stuff never existed, Pokemon community being weird, and then bothering someone actually trying to get great game information with just their own nonsense because they don't understand anything themselves. So we got everything in this Pokemon news update. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.